Lesson 7.3 Video 2. Now if we look closely, we are now being asked to factor, and as I mentioned earlier, factoring, I'm going to take the other direction here, factoring is the opposite of expanding. In other words, we are going to create parentheses. Alright, so to do this, we're going to look at a couple things. Before, when we went from something that had two parentheses to get to the trinomial, we used FOIL. Okay, and foiling is first, outside, inside, and last. So we are going to kind of work backwards here. So we're going to try and fill in the spaces. We have the first in each parentheses. We have the last in each parentheses. Alright, so we have a couple clues to go by. Our first term, x squared, right here, is found by taking first times first, which means we'll have an x and an x, because x times x is x squared. And that's first. Now to get the other parts, we have to focus on the last, because that is created from the product of our last and last terms. So that gave us those two, and now we're going to have to use the -6 to decide the other two terms. So the way I'm going to write this out is, we're looking for two numbers that have a product of -6, and the outside and inside pieces, these two go together to create -1, that middle term. If you remember, there are going to be like terms and we combine them. So we not only have to find out what two numbers give you a product of -6, we're also looking for two numbers that have a sum of -1. So let's go through those choices. We have -6 times 1, but they do not add up to -1. We have, and we could also say 6 and -1, but either way it's not going to work. Together that gives us a -5 and a 5. We want a sum of -1. So let's look at another set of factors, 3 and 2. If I make the 3 negative, -3 times 2 is -6, and -3 plus 2 is -1. So that one works. So in our parentheses, we'll write -3 and a +2. Now if we check that, first times first is x squared, outside is 2x, inside is -3x, and last is -6, which gives us x squared. Again, these add up to -1x minus 6, which is what we wanted. So this is considered our factored form. So let's take a look at another one, a little bit quicker. Okay, so we're looking at, again, to create a set of parentheses that are binomials, and we're filling in our spaces, first and second terms of each binomial. We have first times first should give us x squared, which is x and x. We look at the 24 to tell us the rest. So we need two numbers that have a product of 24 and a sum of 10, because that middle term represents the sum of our two like terms. So if we think about our factors, we have 24 times 1, that adds up to 25, so that's not good. We have 8 times 3, that adds up to 11. We have 6 times 4, And that does add up to 10. So that's our scenario. So in here we'll put a plus 6 and a plus 4, and this is our factored form. So this ends Lesson 7.3 Video 2.